Hey, I'm Meggie Kay. So I feel like I can now safely say that I have survived my first winter in Japan. It is starting to warm up. You can tell spring is about to come, and oh, I am so glad winter is over. I hate winter. I was actually pretty worried about winter and the cold before coming to Japan because one, I am a complete baby when it comes to the cold, and two, you hear the rumors that Japan doesn't do insulation in their homes and they don't have central heating, and I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this. But despite that being true, Japan doesn't do insulation and they do not have central heating. I have managed to survive. So I thought I would share with you some of the things that helped me survive this winter. And I want to point out that I do live in Kyushu, so I probably have the lightest, except for Okinawa, but I probably have one of the lighter type of winters than the rest of Japan. We don't get snow. It only got below 0 at nighttime. Like during the day, it was always about like, I think 4 or 5 was the coldest it went. But like I said, it was like dramatic for me because I hate winter. And I'm a Canadian. But yes, okay, getting into the things that helped me this winter. First up, and actually probably the most basic, is your aircon. Now you associate aircon with cooling, like aircon, air conditioning. But yeah, basically every aircon would have a heat function as well. And it took me a while to figure this out because I moved to Japan not knowing any Japanese, and I'm like, I know my aircon has a heat function, but I don't know what button to push or how to get it to change from cold to hot. So if you are a noob like me, you want to look for this kanji. This kanji is the like heating function. So you want to make sure your aircon says this. Now on my remote, if you click this button, it'll go through all the settings. Again, I didn't realize that's what this button did until I asked a friend. But you go through all the settings until you hit that kanji and it will heat your apartment. And it is glorious, and it took me until January to figure that out and ask a friend. And once it happened, the days were so much easier. Number 2, and my personal favorite, is my kotatsu. And I love kotatsus so much. I didn't think I would, but it is a fluffy, warm coziness, and it actually turned me really lazy because I would sit on my kotatsu because one, that's my only table in my entire apartment if you've seen my apartment tour video. But it's just like, it's so cozy and warm and you never want to leave it. It's like, oh, do I really have to go to my bed now? There's been quite a few times where I actually slept in my kotatsu, which I don't think you're supposed to do. I mean, my kotatsu was off for most of the night. I didn't like sleep with it on and whatever. But it's just like, you never want to leave it. It's cozy and warm and fluffy, and oh, if you don't have a kotatsu, get one because they're awesome. Number 3 is heat tech clothing. Now, I don't actually know the science or whatever or how it works, but apparently it's like these shirts, maybe pants. Do they have pants? I have shirts and socks that are labeled heat tech, and I bought them from Uniqlo, and they're like supposed to keep you warmer than regular shirts, I guess. I am skeptical of this. I don't believe they actually keep me any warmer or do anything different. For me, it was like $10 for a really solid undershirt kind of thing. Like, they're well made, they're $10, they're not gonna like rip or fray. They're like good quality for $10. And I just wear them underneath my blouse and then like a cardigan or whatever. And I'm good for the day, it keeps me warm enough. But I don't think they do any more than a regular t-shirt. If you do want to depend on like this type of clothing item to keep you warm, I would recommend like spending the extra money on athletic grade type of like Under Armour, you know what I mean? I feel like that stuff actually works and actually will keep you warmer than the cheapy stuff from Uniqlo. But like I said, I have all these other layers on top, so it's just like a bit of extra, because if you come to Japan to teach, schools don't have heating or air conditioning. It's like there's nothing there. So in the classroom, it can get cold in the winter, so having a couple of layers is good, but something to consider, I guess. And something that has actually helped me, like I said, having a really solid undershirt underneath my blouse and my cardigans were useful. So the next one I want to talk about is something I kind of figured out on accident and didn't really mean to do any of this, but it's this beanbag thing. Now, I use beanbags all the time back in Canada for my sore muscles, and that's why I bought this one, is because I had some serious back pain happening. So I bought this to kind of help soothe my muscles, put some heat on them, and it's reusable and whatever. So I kind of discovered that it works really great at night, because I'm not gonna sleep with my heaters on or anything like that. But, you know, it gets cold pretty fast because Japan doesn't do insulation. So I would actually, even if my muscles felt fine and I didn't feel like I needed to put this heat bag on it, I would put it in the microwave and kind of like cuddle up to it at night. And it's kind of like, I guess, like a hot water bottle type thing that you could put in your bed. But, oh, it was like a mistake that made sleeping so comfy and cozy and warm. So if you have sore muscles, these are great, but also just on the days when you're feeling fine, use them too. Next, and the most like mind-blowing ones, because I never knew these existed, I'd never seen anything like this before. Why didn't I know about these before? They're called kairo, which are these like little hot bags of something. I don't actually know what it is, but there's these bags and you just kind of like, it's almost like a sand inside of it, and you just kind of like move the sand around and it gets really hot, and you like keep it in your pocket and hold it in your hand, and it like helps keep you warm. It's awesome. Basically, there's 3 kinds that I have bought and used. The one is sticky, like this kanji means sticky, and there's like a paste side to it, and you can like, I guess, stick it on your clothes somewhere. I don't know. I bought these by mistake. I didn't know what that kanji meant before. Then there's the regular kind that you just kind of like don't have anything sticky on it. It's just a bag of hot stuff. And then there's one that are specific for your shoes. My personal favorite is the shoe one. Now, I have very cold feet. My feet stay cold and they don't warm up ever unless I stick them under my kotatsu. But the little kairo for the shoes were my favorite. I love those. There's not a day of school that goes by where I don't have those in my shoes. Love those. The hand ones are great. I don't really understand the sticky ones. I don't know where I would stick those. Like I said, I bought those as a mistake. But yeah, these little packs of hotness are awesome. And there's different sizes. Personally, I like the mini ones, but like a lot of my students I see like have like bigger ones. Yeah. Look for those if you're in Japan and are feeling cold. Finally, the last thing I'm going to talk about is my ceramic fan heater. And I bought this off my predecessor before I actually arrived in Japan. And this fan heater doesn't actually like, it won't heat up any kind of area, won't heat up any space. It'll basically like blow hot air and like, but it doesn't like stay. It won't like heat up a space, you know what I mean? So as soon as I figured out how to turn on my Aircon heater, this ceramic fan heater didn't really do much good because the Aircon does something way better than this little fan can. However, I have found out a very useful way to use this fan, and that is with my laundry. Now, once it started to get a little bit colder in the fall, I realized that my clothes were taking forever to dry. Whereas in the summer when I'd wash my laundry, I'd hang it up, and within like, you know, 3-4 hours, all of it was completely 100% dry. No problems. But as it got a bit colder and we were moving into fall and it wasn't very hot out and my apartment was starting to get a bit colder, my clothes were not drying. It was taking like 3 days for things to dry, and they weren't even very dry. They still felt a little bit damp. So I started blowing this fan on them. So I just hang up my clothes on my little rack how I would normally dry them, and I would put my fan right by them, blowing air on, and within 3 hours they're completely dry, 100%. There's no like weird dampiness to them the way they would be if I didn't use the fan. So tip, it's not really like keeping me warm, but lifestyle. Life tip for winter in Japan and drying clothes. Put your heater by your clothes. I found that worked out pretty well. So yeah, that's kind of the things that I have done in Japan to kind of help me get through winter. And if you live in Japan, let me know in the comments some of your tips and your suggestions and what you do to keep warm in winter, because I'm kind of scared that this winter was just like not very bad and next winter is gonna be horrible and I'm gonna like die, because like I said, I can't deal with cold. I can't do it. I'm so glad spring is about to happen. Like, oh, it can't come fast enough. But yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because I will be back with another video soon. Bye!